With the exception of Washington State playing against Arizona recently in the last game, this is kind of how their games have gone for them. They've competed extremely hard and have fallen short down the stretch. That's kind of what happened here today. We were aware of that. We knew we were going to come out and play really good. I thought our guys did a lot of good things. I thought we competed especially hard in the second half. I thought we had a lot of energy on defense. We were moving, getting up in the lanes. We were able to force 18 turnovers and scored 25 points off of those turnovers. So that was refreshing to see. I thought our bench did a really good job. The numbers might not bear it, but their activity, the things that they did in key moments really helped us. And obviously Scott Suggs and CJ scored the ball really well tonight. So I thought it was a really good team win for us.
Scott said that you two had talked earlier in the week. What was that conversation about?
Yeah, we talked before the Arizona State game, just about the type of mentality he has to have going out on the basketball floor. Sometimes we can go out on the floor and think, if my shot's going, everything's good. If it's not, everything's not that good. But that's, you don't win the game, you don't make baskets. But there's so many other things that go on within a basketball game that you can help with. And I just think his approach was really good.
Has it changed since that conversation, the approach?
Yeah, seems like he's had 2 pretty good performances.
What was his reaction to that, to try to, I mean, his personality is one thing, but then to try to get him to actually play differently, what was his reaction? Did he realize, yeah, I need to do this?
I think, you know, he said all this, so I'll comment on it if he brought it up. But I think him understanding just a little different mentality is may catch you off guard at times, right? I thought I was doing that, but if you sit back and really reflect, maybe go look at the film, maybe you see it's otherwise. Whatever that was the case, I think he's doing a much better job of that. He rebounded better in our last game, and he only had 2, but I think he had 4 in the last game. He just came up with a big-time traffic rebound down the stretch. There's things like that. Those things impact winning. And those are some of the things I think he's done more in the last couple of games. It's funny how that works. When you get lost in a game like that, the offensive part is the easiest thing. Because you're forced to be locked in some kind of way, so it carries over.
How does that alone change this team if you got Suggs on top of whatever else you got going?
I've said for quite some time that if we're all playing, none of us have to have our best game of the year. None of us have to go out and have our career high performance. We just have to play to the level that we're capable of playing. And if we're all doing that on the same night, I think we can be really, really competitive with anyone. We just haven't had that consistency of that this year. Again, you don't have to have your best game of your career. Just play to your potential.
Coach, your teams generally, for whatever reason, are improving quite a bit at this phase of the season. Is this team doing that? And where are they relative to where your teams typically are?
I think so. I think we had a few defensive breakdowns, but for the most part, we understand what we're doing defensively now. I think offensively, barring the first half where I thought early on we just kind of stagnant against the zone, didn't move bodies, didn't move the ball. I thought in the second half we had a better feel. We know where we're going, we know where our shots are coming from, and we're not thinking a whole lot. I think that's why we're playing better right now. Let's hope that that can continue. Role definition is always important too. I think guys understand now when they're coming in the game, when they're playing. I think we kind of have our rotation set. That's always helpful.
After the first 2 possessions, you went to your bench. You wanted to do what then?
Desmond does such a good job defensively. We don't have a whole lot of answers for Brock Modem, but Desmond does a good job of limiting his touches. And Sean had been inserted in the starting lineup, and in the beginning of the game, that was his assignment. But I think Brock got off real quick, and we didn't want that to. Brock Modem gets in the zone, he'll score 40 on it. and we did not want that to happen. And we made a quick substitution. It wasn't as much a knock against Sean as it was a compliment to Desmond. He just does a good job. Desmond played 27 minutes, and a lot of that had to do with his ability to defend Brock Moda. Not saying he's just going to stop him and take him out of the game, but he is our best option, so we have to have him in there.
Did you think that with Suggs that he was just too laid back earlier? The
Yeah,
season?
probably at times. Yeah, that's probably been the. You know, I even explained to him. I said I was fortunate enough to play professionally, but if I didn't play with passion, I wasn't very good. Michael Jordan, if he played laid back, he would have just been an all-star. He would have been the greatest. That passion is something that is very important, that best players have to play with.
Anything else?
Is these only 13 minutes, is that just matchup?
Matchups. Shelton now is a three-point shooter. He took 7 shots, 6 of them were from the 3, 3 of them went in the basket. And you got Modem as the other guy. So Jannard Giroux played 17 minutes, 18 minutes. Desmond played 27 minutes. Just a matchup issue. The last time we played them, Shelton was not as confident knocking that 3 down like he is now. So as the game progressed, we just felt we had to go with that lineup to try to do a better job of defending them.
Are these last 2 games as close as you've been to having 8 guys play their potential?
Yes. Yeah. And if we wouldn't have, we would have come out on the short end. But because now we're playing a little more consistently, it's elevated our play as a group.
You said all along you wouldn't play the right way heading into the Pac-12 tournament. How close is this to the right?
I think we're getting close to playing the way we want to play basketball.
What's left to get there?
I still would like to see us. I thought we pushed the ball. I still would like to see us push the ball a little better. We got easy baskets tonight, but I'd like to see us do that more consistently. Teams that are really good, they're really good for a reason. They don't give up easy baskets. So when that happens, we have to be able to knock shots down. In those tough, grinded out games, we haven't shot the ball real well a lot of times. Tonight, we were able to force a lot of turnovers and get into the open floor. But when teams are really good and they take good care of the ball, we have to knock those shots down. I think we get the shots. I think we get open shots. But if we're not quite in a rhythm because of the nature of the game, we still have to be able to knock those down.
In the second half, you're down 8. Was there a turning point?
I think we had a couple stops and we hit a couple threes. I thought we hit big shots. Scott hit some big shots with the shot clock running down. Desmond hit a big shot clock running down. CJ, I thought when that happened, we hit a couple big shots ourselves. We had answers, and sometimes we don't have the answers on offense, but we did, coupled with some stops, and we were able to get right back into the game.
So I know there'll be games where you have more balance, but among those 3 starting guards, the way they're functioning now, Abdul truly the distributor, CJ and Scott really making shots, is that how you envision this team going, and especially when you need tough baskets with those 2 guys?
You know, initially in the summer, what we envisioned was a rotation with the 5 guards, Mark McLaughlin, Scott Suggs, CJ, Andrew, and Abdul. But when Mark was no longer with us, it was down to a 4-man rotation. And then there were injuries. Scott was injured. Andrew was injured. And we had to work through that. I think finally now there's been some consistency in terms of health and guys stepping up. You know, Andrew didn't have as good a game tonight, but, you know, he's part of that rotation as well. He's been part of it. And that's what I was referring to earlier about peaking at the end of the year. I just feel like we're just settling in right now, kind of understanding what everyone's role is.
And can you explain just the whole phenomenon for seniors when it comes down to the end? Just why is it that as it winds down that they just kind of feel this sort of whatever to get better? And just why can't they do it earlier.
You know, a pet peeve of mine, now, I'm gonna try not to go off on a tangent, but I can't promise you. A pet peeve of mine, someone you've been talking to for 3 years about getting extra work in the gym. And they're complaining about why they gotta get up early. And now the season's over, and you come in early, they're in here, they got music playing in the gym, they're jumping rope, they're in a full sweat. We've been saying this, asking you to do this forever. Yeah, but man, I got a chance for the league now. Oh. Was it Van Gundy at the NBA draft? Some guy was 320 and lost 40 pounds since the season was over, and he said, yeah, since the season's over, I lost 40 pounds to get ready for the draft. Van Gundy commented, he says, why do guys wait till after their career to do that kind of stuff, their college career? And I just was from the school of, I don't care how old you are, how much time you have left, you want to be ready in season and out of season. Want to go play a game in June? Want to go play one mid-July? I'm going to be just as good a shape as I will be in February. That's how I feel about it, but everyone else doesn't share that same passion. So that was my tangent. When you are a senior, you realize it's coming down to the end, and you always want to have a good showing. Sometimes we go through life and we take things for granted until it's not there anymore. And you start to reflect back on how much fun you had in college. College is some of the most enjoyable days of your life. And all of the different things you accomplished and your camaraderie, and that starts to wind down, and you want to make sure you're at your best. I was a senior, a senior in college. I'm moving toward a senior in a different way now, but that was a long time ago.
Was that part of your talk with Scott on that you just described?
Nah, not that as much. A little bit, but not as much.
Coach Bone is one of your good friends, and one of the top boosters came out, said he's not going to go to any more games until he's fired. I mean, can you just talk a little bit about...
You try to create a tangent again.
But just, I mean, I know he's a good friend of yours, and how hard is that to hear that kind of stuff?
You hate to hear it about, you know, anyone, especially someone you're close to. But you know what, as coaches, we understand when you sign your contract, that's what comes with it. There's not an addendum in my contract that says you must have thick skin, but they might as well put that in there because it's going to happen. Coach Wooden would tell me, don't believe when people are very critical because you're probably not that bad. But don't believe all the praise either because you're probably not that good. Stay even keeled. You got to be able to handle that, and it's always tough to hear when you hear that type of thing. But I know myself, Coach Bone, and every other coach that is in this profession understands there's going to be criticism.
All right. Thank you, Coach.